Hello everyone and welcome to Helix Cloud Games. My name is Richie and this is SideQuest, a cloud gaming show where we do a deep dive into one topic. On this week's show we're discussing if you could only pick one, you're a Stadia player, you can only pick one out of Ubisoft Plus and Stadia Pro, which should you go for? And to help me in this quest, I'm joined by the host of the Sounds of Stadia podcast, Mr. Chris.
Hey gamers, hope you're good.
But before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit that bell icon for notifications when all of our great shows go live, such as the Sounds of Stadia podcast every single Monday in YouTube and podcast services, and our Thursday night live streams, which will have returned yesterday. So Chris, Ubisoft, you have to pick Ubisoft Plus or Stadia Pro. Which one do you pick?
Well, what are the rules around this? Because if I can pick, are we talking Stadia Pro from the beginning? Because if so, that's a very different argument to if I picked up Stadia Pro today. I get a very mixed bag of titles.
Yeah, I think for the sake of this conversation, we're going to assume that we are new Stadia players. So there's about 50 plus titles on Stadia Pro. Mm-hmm. That's what you get.
Cool. Right.
Just because I think it's kind of weighting it quite heavily if you went because realistically, if you're listening to this thinking, oh, I'm thinking about Stadia Pro, I'm thinking about Ubisoft Plus, which one do I get? You're not going to get over 100 titles that we've had since day one.
Well, that is true. Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring it up, because that would have put things like Jedi Fallen Order, Control on the table, which are arguably equal, if not better, than a lot of Ubisoft titles. Whereas if I was brand new to Stadia, I wouldn't have that option. It would just be like, no, you claim what's available now, which is still a massive list. But yeah, let's compare. Now I know the rules, and so do I. You know the rules. Let's compare.
I think to get out of the way, the first thing I want to bring up is the 5.1 surround sound, which you get with Stadia Pro. Which, honestly, I'm going to throw this out there. I'm going to throw this one out there. If you're an audiophile who cares to the point where you need your gaming experience to have 5.1 surround sound, I doubt you're the sort of person who's that into cloud gaming.
No, you've probably got a top-end PC, the best earphones, and all that kind of stuff.
It might not even be that, but if you're spending the money on your surround sound system for your living room TV, you're probably leaning towards an Xbox or PlayStation. To be fair, I might be wrong. If I am wrong, let us know in the comments. But of the offerings of Stadia Pro, I think that is by far the easiest one. Stadia should just go, you know what, everyone have this.
Yeah.
I don't really see it as much of a selling point.
There's not a massive difference. And then on the flip side of Ubisoft Plus, I know a lot of Ubisoft games don't run at the most optimized as they can be. I know there's some older titles like the Far Cry games get a lot of criticism for like the frame rate running really bad. So there's wins and losses on both sides in terms of fidelity and quality, I feel, which probably give them a bit of parity actually between the two.
This is why I'm restricting the Ubisoft Plus bit to you are a Stadia player. Because one of the advantages of Ubisoft Plus is Ubisoft Connect, where you could literally just play on Xbox, play on Luna, play on GeForce Now. Is it on GeForce now? I'm not sure. I don't
think so.
Basically, wherever Ubisoft Plus is, you can carry your saves. So I suppose that is a benefit.
It is, and it doesn't limit your control of certain titles that aren't playable via Stadia or Luna. You can actually play on your PC. Like Anno is a big one we keep talking about. I could, in theory, just jump on my PC and download it now to play with.
Actually, I'm going to put that back on the table, because I was putting that. Gone, we'll put that off the table. What I've just thought is a lot of people might play Stadia as a way of playing the games on the go. They might have a gaming PC in the house or maybe an Xbox, but when they're travelling they don't want to carry that around, so they'll just carry a Chromebook or a phone and they'll just put a Razer Kishi in. So for me, and that's when the Stadia comes into play. So Ubisoft Connect and Ubisoft Plus being available on multiple platforms is actually back on the table.
Okay, back on the table then.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't think we should list every title because there's over 50 on Stadia, and you'd literally sit here as I go blah 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 blah.
And there's
for the
loads
list.
on Ubisoft Plus as well. We'll just be here all day, just naming
Yeah,
titles.
exactly. I'd probably say we'll just pick out some big hitters for good comparison. So if I kind of hit you, it is interesting because Ubisoft games are quite similar in some regards, but they do have a good mix of family-oriented AAA. Whereas the Stadia Pro library, because it does fluctuate so much and it doesn't retain the AAA, what I would say is the best titles for that long.
No.
It may make it weaker at this moment in time, but then I guess it depends on, as a player, what you're in this for, really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where to start.
I think with Stadia Pro as well, where you think of a game to pick, is you do get a lot more diversity. You might not get the quality.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, Ubisoft games, they can be quite distinct. Like there's a lot of common ground between Assassin's Creed and Far Cry when they are technically very different games.
Yeah.
You do have that Ubisoft feel to them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one to compare. I was actually noticing, just looking at the list, a shout out again to InLead with the Stadia Pro game monitor. A lot of our shows
every time with the Stadia Pro
would not be possible without this Legends hard work and statistic driven sheet. So if you've not checked out that yet, InLead on Twitter, go check out his Pro game monitor. You'll see everything you can claim. Control Ultimate Edition is actually still claimable as of this time. So that's one cracking AAA title that is thrown into the mix. Just as a quick overview, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected is still on there. Ark Survival Evolved, which is going to be a PlayStation Plus game this coming month, is there too. You've got some great indie titles. Grime, Killer Queen Black is on there. Dark Side Detective. So yeah, you're totally right, Richie. The variety is huge. It just, I guess, kind of weighs up. Yeah, Wave Tail is still in there as well. It is just really down to probably what you're looking for, because a lot of the Ubisoft library, if I'm not mistaken, is just Assassin's Creed games. There's a lot of Assassin's Creed games, which I guess once you've played one in today's world, if you've never played any of these games before, is playing 7 Assassin's Creed games really that great as a gamer who's new to this? You know what I mean? Like, with Stadia Pro, you would get 6 variety. Yeah,
that's it. You get with Ubisoft Plus. The thing is, with Ubisoft Plus on Stadia, you don't have the full Ubisoft library. Like you've mentioned, Anno's not there on Stadia.
Far Cry 4's not there.
Far Cry 4's not on Isn't Far Cry 4 there? On Ubisoft Plus and Stadia?
Not yet.
Because I'm literally looking at a Stadia community blog post where it has Far Cry 4 there. Far Cry 3 isn't there yet. Blood Dragon is about to come soon, we expect, but...
Is 4 there? I thought 4's the one in the Himalayas with Pagan Min. I didn't think we had that one yet.
On the blog post I'm looking at the moment, it's
Far Cry 4. I'm looking at the store and it's not there.
Really?
Nope. Didn't think it was. Because that's one of my favourite Far Cry games. And I keep, because I know we've got 5. That's the one in Montana. We've got 6, of course. It's the latest one. Blood Dragon's out imminently. It's just got a rating this past week, actually. Yeah, no Far Cry 4. So that's what I'm saying. Wow. It's like it's got a few gaps.
And the date of this blog post is March 2021.
What does it say in the blog post?
It literally says Far Cry 4 publisher Ubisoft Entertainment hidden in the towering Himalayas, blah 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 blah. And this is an entire blog post about Ubisoft Plus.
And this is March
last year. The title of the blog post is Ubisoft Plus beta expansion and more of your favourite Ubisoft games on Stadia.
No wonder people are getting annoyed on social media. It's like Mafia. It's been over a year since they told us it was coming.
I didn't check the date. I just pulled up a blog post that for what Ubisoft Plus games that are on Stadia just as an easy reference tool. Oh well.
See, I know it.
But
I knew it wasn't out. So again, it's like the library's great, but that's what I'm saying. You've got like several Far Cry games, like New Dawn and stuff. I don't think we've got Prime. We haven't got Far Cry Primal yet either. But there's gaps, is what I'm trying to get.
That's also this blog post.
Is it?
Literally after Far Cry 4.
Actually, Primal does use the map from 4 as like a reskin. So if it's the same engine, the same coding, I guess that kind of makes sense. But that is ironic then. So 2 gaps in the Far Cry library that are there. We know Blood Dragon's been delayed. But whereas, you flip over to Stadia Pro and I could give you Journey to the Savage Planet, Pixel Junk Raiders, Merrick's Market, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, Destroy All Humans. The variety is crazy to see. So again, approaching this topic from I'm a Stadia player, but I also am new. I'm guessing you're new to all of this. Then, I would actually lean more towards Pro in terms of just the sheer variety.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but Stadia Pro does give you access to up to 4K on Stadia. Although, if in a lot of people's experiences, most games aren't hitting that, to be fair. Or at least not at 60 frames per second.
No. But, as I said, a lot of the Ubisoft titles get critiqued for having poor performance with the Stadia versions. Not all of them, but I've seen quite a few people crop up saying, I think Far Cry 5 is actually one of them with bad frame rates. But I don't know.
I must admit, I did when I had Ubisoft Plus, was it a month or so ago now? I did play a bit of Far Cry 5 on Stadia, and then on my PC, which is very much got an underpowered graphics card from a couple of generations ago, because I foolishly, when I built this PC, decided to focus on other components, expecting because it was about the time when the rumours of the 30 series Nvidia cards were starting to drop. So I was I'll buy this card now, in a couple of years' time I'll upgrade, and then global chip shortage. So that hasn't worked out. But I had better performance on my PC than Stadia. It took a bit more fine tuning myself to get it, but I got it.
Yeah,
but it is worth bringing up. That is a feature that some developers can take.
To give Ubisoft Plus its credit, though, you are getting AAA titles day and date with all of the content. You get the gold deluxe super fancy bedazzled edition day one. So that price value cannot be understated. Pro's great. We get a few games day and date. Remember, we did get Little Nightmares 2, Pixel Junk Raiders, Wavetale. They all came exclusively day and date. But that's not comparable to something like Assassin's Creed Valhalla Gold Edition, which comes with essentially £80 to £90 worth of value in one sudden drop.
I mean, you've got the Life is Strange remastered and Before the Storm remastered. Although based on our live stream of Life is Strange 1, the first chapter, I'd honestly recommend you just buy the original versions, because the original versions on other platforms ran fine, and I don't think the upgrades is that significant. Mm-hmm. And that's literally, on the run up to Life is Strange True Colours coming out, I did replay Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm.
Yeah.
On PlayStation 4, and the remastered versions are prettier. Mm-hmm. But came with bugs that the originals don't, and they're not pretty. It's not a game that really needs to be that pretty, in my opinion. But that's that's a side quest on its own. That's Life is Strange, but they're great games.
As another one for Ubisoft Plus as well, there is the reality. These games, I mean, it could happen on Stadia Pro, but we haven't seen it yet. Is the games could be pulled? Just remember, Just Dance was pulled from the Stadia store recently as well due to music licensing, we suspect.
Yes, but Just Dance was not on Plus. Yeah, I think there's a specific reason you don't get Just Dance. With Ubisoft Plus outside of Stadia, all the Ubisoft games apart from Just Dance and Stadia are on Ubisoft Plus. I think pretty much on PC, it's all the games minus Just Dance. Maybe a few of them missing, but we suspect the reason you don't get Just Dance and Ubisoft Plus is purely down to music licensing deals and how quickly they can expire. Yeah.
So it's an interesting one. I'm looking at the Ubisoft Plus website now, and if you filter it down to just Google Stadia, it brings back 21 results. So just sheer volume, Stadia Pro is putting out 50 plus titles, so you're getting double the return on entries. But then this is where it becomes subjective, where is the quality, I've played a lot of these Assassin's Creed games, you're talking 300, 400 plus hours of content here, whereas if I'm playing Merrick's Market and Fogs, I'm maybe getting 2-3 hours tops.
Again, I think I logged maybe about 80 hours into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I didn't complete everything there was to do in that game, and I didn't play any of the DLC.
I did, and I clocked in at about 135 hours.
Yeah.
And that's not including Dawn of Ragnarok, which you now get included with Ubisoft Plus.
Yeah.
So again, day one. So
I bring that. I mean, we've established quite well that you actually play games a lot higher pace than I do.
High frame rate.
Well, not on Stadia with the same frame rate, but yeah. But you do. You just get through games quicker than I do. Just.
Yeah, my life runs at a higher frame rate.
It's true. Yeah. You have more stuff to do, so I mean, when you play a game, you have to go. Well, I take a more leisurely pace through my games, but it kind of gives you an example of how much content you can get out of these games in terms of if you're looking for how many hours worth of gaming I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ubisoft may have Stadia Pro beat on pure number of game hours because you are getting expanded editions, so you are getting all the DLC. For all of the games.
I would have agreed with that until I just had a look at the game list again, and I'm looking at some games that are so expansive and kind of infinitely never-ending.
Well,
if I gave you Crater, Terraria,
yes, these games,
Ark Survival Evolved,
the very
you could play them
nature of
forever.
The very nature of these games does skew it. But let's take Ark for example. If you're the sort of person who the game you're going to play is Ark Survival Evolved, and that's your hobby. The hobby is that one game. Stadia Pro's not for you. Just buy the game on Stadia.
Yeah, just play Ark and just enjoy Ark for what it is.
That's it. You're not getting Stadia Pro and keeping that subscription for one game. If you're going to put 300, 400, 500 hours into one game, you're better off buying that game rather than paying a monthly subscription. You'll save money after like 2 months or something. I don't know how much Ark is without checking out, but you're looking a couple of months. So,
no, it can be much.
Yeah, it's not
much.
It's an interesting point though. It's like if you are like, and again, you might get more of these sort of games like Pixel Junk Raiders. I think you mentioned it's a roguelike. They are meant to just replay. Killer Queen Black is very much an online multiplayer game. Yeah. Our friends over there, great people.
Some of the racing games never end as well. Wreckfest is still claimable.
Yeah,
you can play races as long as you've got friends. Yeah, just jump in and play forever. And as you've rightly said on the podcast a few times, decent couple of JRPGs we've had recently on Stadia Pro. They are no mean feat when it comes to time consumed. Oh, yes, and you know that all too well. So,
E8, I was surprised how much I enjoyed that game. I intended to do a first look of that game because I like my JRPGs and I thought it'd be interesting what to do. And then I played the entire game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tempted by Legend of Heroes Trials of Cold Steel 3, but it is the third game in a continuing story.
Yeah.
In just that one story arc of the Legend of Heroes series, so it's a bit too big to jump in at that point. So,
one thing I will throw out, Richie, looking at this list again, loads of Assassin's Creed games, fantastic. Far Cry, fantastic. Division 2, Ghost Recon, Watch Dogs, all great games. I have the Platinum Trophy. Many of them I've completed them utterly to the final finish. One thing's just stood out for me when I'm comparing it. If I'm a family man, Richie, there isn't much for me here. Yes, there's Rayman. Yes, there's Uno and Monopoly. Everything else is like 18 plus. Lots of death, lots of violence, lots of assassinating. Whereas if I've got kids and I've only got a limited budget and I'm in this conversation, this debate right here, right now, Stadia Pro's got a lot going for a family.
Kids love death and violence, Chris.
They do, but they're not allowed to play it, Richie.
That's
the strict rule as a parent we need to ensure. But yeah, I'm looking over here and I've got Cake Bash, Wavetail, maybe not Destroy All Humans, Merrick's Market, DreamWorks Dragons, Dawn of Monsters, Crater. There's just so much in there for like families. Spirit's Lucky Adventure.
I mean, you can literally even go younger and go Paw Patrol.
Yeah, Paw Patrol, Transformers Battlegrounds. So if I'm looking at like spending a monthly fee to keep my kids and myself entertained, I think Stadia Pro wins hands down on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any dispute in that. If you're buying it for your kids, then I think Stadia Pro is the way to go. And then it's here's a load of games for your kids. Although it could I don't know what the parental features are like on Stadia, because there might be some stuff that like things like Life is Strange. I think would skew to like an older audience of it. Like
there is the family plan. If you've got it on the family plan, you can use your Google account to restrict access to certain things.
Yeah, so. I mean that's one way to go. So as long as there's this way of filtering out stuff that the kids probably shouldn't be playing, because yes, you have Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure, but you also have Hitman.
Yeah, you come in. What are you playing there, Timmy? Oh God, no!
Yeah,
choking out some guy.
So
with
as long as the
cheese
parental features are good enough, then then that makes actually good things. Like if assume the parental features are good enough, because I can't be bothered to Google it, to be honest. Little Timmy, he's playing. I don't know, the Falconeer. Fun little game. You might join in with him. It's a fun game, and then he goes to bed. And you go rot some people in Hitman just to de-stress.
Certainly could. Interesting. I guess it's the whole point of these shows is it's topical conversational. And I think we'd love to hear in the comments anyone else's kind of just what caveat would you put in this conversation, or even just your own example. If like, why do you have Stadia Pro but you don't have why or Ubisoft Plus or vice versa? Because like we're similar, like we've stayed subscribed to Ubisoft briefly to Ubisoft Plus if and when it needs be, but we've been Stadia Pro subscribers since day one, and I don't know whether it's just it may be caveated because we are content creators, so I think it merits us being signed up.
I think we can be fairly honest. I'm happy to be honest with that. I don't know if I will be subscribing to Stadia Plus every single month if I wasn't a content creator.
Yeah. I guess the final way to probably wrap this up a little bit is long term. If you're subscribing to these, like you're just gonna keep like your Netflix, you're just gonna leave it subscribed for eternity. Ubisoft Plus and Stadia Pro are going to evolve year on year, month on month, week on week. I guess Ubisoft Plus is going to get arguably some massive AAA games. Stadia Pro, if you look at the year ahead, Richie, we know what the roadmap is looking like for Stadia for 2022. They're missing out on a lot of big titles, but they will get Ubisoft games, but they're not coming to Stadia Pro because of inherently having Ubisoft Plus on the platform.
Yeah.
As time goes by, yes, Pro might get more titles and it might get a bit more variety, but is it really getting the AAA quality money's worth? Like Avatar, Rainbow Six, Division Heartlands, X-Defiant, all that stuff.
I'd say for Stadia Pro, the games that you classify as AAA are fairly few and far between. There's a couple of outstanding ones in there. Hitman, Control, Jedi Fallen Order, Resident Evil, 7. But that, I think we just hit the end of the list.
Yeah.
There's some awesome indies, like Celeste was a Stadia Pro game back in October. That's
Little
definitely
Nightmares,
worth. Yeah, so there is some of these top end indies,
but they're far and few between.
Yeah, but what with Stadia Pro, you can pretty much guarantee between 2 to 9 games every month.
Yep.
I think the biggest month. So if it's a case of you like to just jump around, try a lot of different things, Stadia Pro is probably the way to go for you.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like Ubisoft Plus will go many, many months without possibly getting anything.
Yeah.
Just by the nature of the rate they put games out. Whereas Stadia Pro, we've been spoilt really with like 4 to 5 every month. And some months we've had like 7 or 8, I think.
The biggest month I counted was 9 in December 2020. Into the Breach, Hitman 2, Kine, Monster Steel Jam Titans, Everspace, Secret Neighbour, Outcasters, Submerged Hidden Depths, and Cthulhu Saves Christmas.
Why did they give us 9 games? Like, what were they thinking? I know it's Christmas and it's been festive, but imagine any other competitor like PlayStation turn around and going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that, the world would go crazy.
And honestly, since August, the last time we got 4 games or less was July 2021. So we've got.
But then, yeah.
So we're
that's
good.
That's
6 months at this point of getting 5+ games every month. But again, quantity and quality, you've got to weigh these up yourself
as well.
Yeah,
because I haven't played. I actively say like the last few months of Pro, I've barely touched any of them because they're just none of them speak out to me. Whereas I did sign up for Ubisoft Plus because I wanted to play Extraction.
So, Chris, I'm going to ask you for the answer now. You, just yourself, you're only allowed one. Stadia Pro, Ubisoft Plus, based on everything we discussed. Which one do you go for?
Forever. The rest of my life, I don't ever get to flip-flop back. I think...
I didn't flip it through, but...
No.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life, I can only have one of these.
Yeah.
Knowing my gaming history, as much as I do like the variety, I'm such a Ubisoft fan and a sucker for like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, some of my favourite franchises of all time. I loved Immortals Phoenix Rising. I really enjoyed Division. I'm looking forward to Avatar, the Star Wars game. And like I said, the value in the gold editions you get, for me, it has to be Ubisoft Plus. Even though it's a bit more expensive, we didn't even talk about that, but I do think it's worth it. So yes, Ubisoft Plus for me.
It's also Ubisoft Plus for me. I'm not as big of a Ubisoft fan as you are. I do like Assassin's Creed. I do like Far Cry. I don't love them. I do like them though. But then they got games like Child of Light, which I think is a fantastic game. There's got a lot of games where I do enjoy, but wouldn't go out my way to get, like Riders Republic. When we've played Riders Republic, I've had a blast every time.
I've just realised
I don't think I've played enough of it.
Needs updating then, because it's missing Child of Light and Riders Republic. So I was doing it a disservice earlier on when I said 21 results, because their own website's doing them a disservice.
When I realised the blog post I was reading off was a year old, I just went to the Google Stadia store, so I've got the actual list in front of me now.
That's smarter.
Yeah,
but yes,
I mean, if you like Uno, but I think me and you, we have said it's the same. It's Ubisoft Plus for us, but I think Stadia Pro has its merits, and
it does indeed.
Well, the lucky thing about gaming is you don't have to pick. You can have both if that makes you feel happy. Anything else you want to bring up, Chris?
No, I just like with all of these SideQuest shows, I just love to hear what our audience's take is. Where do you think the best value is? What will you stay subscribed to the most? What would you like to see to come to both libraries? Because we've said many times the Ubisoft store is very short of a lot of big titles, and whether that's down to Ubisoft or Stadia, who knows? But we'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, let us know.
But that's all we've had time for this week. If you liked the video, hit that like button and consider becoming a member for as little as 99p. We can get early access to this very show as soon as I'm done editing it. If you've got an idea for a topic you want us to discuss, let us know in the comments. Or in our Discord server where you can write in with topics to discuss, have conversations with awesome people. I completely tripped over my words there, so I'm just going to kill the show now. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Richie.
I've been Chris.
Quest completed.